Imagine her face as a city that never sleeps, its neon veins pulsing with information she never consented to display. Most men wander the sidewalks, staring at the blank billboards, waiting for a giant "I like you" to scroll across in bold sans serif. Meanwhile, behind alleyway doors, tiny bulbs flicker in Morse code rhythms, spelling the same sentence over and over, faster than a breath, softer than a blink. Once you learn to read that low-watt alphabet, you can stroll through her midnight districts and know, block by block, which doorways are open, which windows are warm, which back lanes are already lit for you. The first bulb is the eyebrow flash. The instant your shape hits her retina, a relay switch inside the brainstem snaps open, sending a jolt down the facial nerve. Frontalis muscle contracts, both brows leap skyward, the eyelid aperture widens by 2 millimeters, and the entire visual cortex refreshes at a higher resolution. All of this happens in roughly 200 milliseconds, about the time it takes a honeybee to flap its wings once. She feels nothing, chooses nothing. The circuitry simply obeys a command older than language. Priority, target detected, maximize input. Cleopatra gave it to Caesar, your grandmother gave it to the mailman, the barista will give it to the next customer whose pheromones fit her immune system puzzle. It is the same flick on every continent, in every century, because the wiring is mammalian, not cultural. Miss it and you stay background static, catch it and you are suddenly foreground, high definition, surround sound. Keep walking and the second store sign hums alive, the full face smile. Politeness hires only the orbicularis oris, the lip muscle, then clocks out. Attraction keeps recruiting. Zygomatic major hoists the cheeks. Orbicularis oculi pinches the outer corners of the eyes. Levator labii lifts the upper lip, and the entire lower eyelid brightens as blood flow increases. Neurochemical middlemen, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, storm the control booth, flipping breakers she has no manual access to. The result is a soft lighthouse beam that warms the air a measurable 2 degrees within a 1-meter radius. When you feel that warmth wash across your skin, that is not imagination. It is neurochemistry climbing out of her face and shaking your hand without asking permission. Step closer and a third filament glows. The nostril flare. Inside the nasal cavity, the inferior turbinate swells when airborne molecules, your skin bacteria, your diet, your testosterone metabolite signature, lock into receptors that read compatible immune profile. The swelling narrows the airway, so the brain commands the alar cartilage to bow outward, stealing an extra 100 milliliters of air and of you per breath. She thinks nothing of it. Her body is simply shoplifting more data, the way wolves sample an interesting trail. A millimeter of wing movement carries a megawatt of meaning. Speak, and the fourth bulb blinks, the head tilt. The sternocleidomastoid and trapezius muscles rotate the cervical vertebrae, unveiling the carotid triangle, home of the common carotid artery, internal jugular vein, and vagus nerve. Evolutionary software labels that corridor high-value target and normally shields it behind a chin-down, shoulders-up fortress. When the threat meter drops to 0 and curiosity spikes, the fortress lowers like a drawbridge. She isn't deciding to trust you. Her limbic system has already resorted you from uncertain to safe enough to bleed near. The angle lingers, soft eyes welded to yours, a living sentence that reads, "I will bear my pulse to you and expect your teeth to stay sheathed, unless I change the rules." Hold the gaze and the fifth sign floods the street. Pupil dilation. Sympathetic nerves slam the iris dilator muscle, yanking the colored curtain away from the lens. The aperture doubles, triples, turning each eye into a black hole that sucks in more photons, more you. The reflex is so reliable that Renaissance portraitists painted women with saucer dark eyes centuries before ophthalmologists explained why. Lovers swear the beloved's eyes look different because quite literally they are. The brain has decided you are reward and has physically widened the gateway so it can drink more of the reward in. Finally, the sixth neon strip flickers on, the lip part. As breathing shifts from diaphragmatic to thoracic, the orbicularis oris relaxes, allowing a 1 millimeter gap. Capillaries inside the mucosa dilate, plumping the tissue, rehearsing the vascular choreography of arousal. Time dilates. Blink rate plummets. The world narrows to the rectangle of charged air between your mouths. For 3 silent seconds, her face broadcasts a trailer for a scene her mind hasn't yet greenlit, a scene whose script is already scrolling across the soft inner lining of her lower lip. She can kill the marquee lights, yank the main breakers, plaster closed signs across every window, but the low-watt circuit keeps humming, letter by letter, twitch by twitch. Learn to stroll those midnight streets with open eyes, and you will never again wait for daylight to read what the city already confesses in the dark.